For many, papaya is known as a tropical fruit filled with health benefits. Its bright orange flesh and sweet taste symbolize vitality, and its reputation for aiding digestion has spread worldwide. But hidden inside the fruit lies something far more complex: the small black seeds that people are increasingly chewing in search of quick detox results. While papaya itself nourishes, its seeds hold concentrated compounds that, if consumed carelessly, can quietly harm the very organ they are believed to protect: the gut. These seeds are not harmless fruit remnants. They contain powerful enzymes like papain and chymopapain, which in small doses can help break down proteins and reduce inflammation. They also contain alkaloids and phytochemicals capable of killing parasites and bacteria. That combination of effects has led many to assume that chewing the seeds is a natural cleanse. Yet few realize that these same compounds, when concentrated, may irritate the intestinal lining, disrupt the microbiome, or cause microabrasions that weaken digestion over time. In online wellness spaces, trends often grow faster than understanding. Papaya seeds have been praised as miracle detoxifiers, and countless people have begun eating them raw, believing more equals better. But nature rarely rewards excess. The concentration of compounds within even a handful of seeds can overwhelm the body's delicate balance. What makes them therapeutic in small, carefully prepared amounts can make them toxic when consumed whole and unprocessed. The danger lies not only in the chemistry, but in the structure. Papaya seeds are small, hard, and coated with a layer that resists digestion. When chewed, the fragments can act like tiny blades, scraping the inner walls of the gut. For a young, healthy digestive tract, this may cause nothing more than brief discomfort. But for aging adults, whose mucosal lining is thinner and more fragile, these tiny injuries can open the door to inflammation, pain, and bacterial imbalance. Japanese and other Asian healing traditions have long understood this duality. In those cultures, seeds and herbs with potent enzymes are rarely consumed raw. They are soaked, dried, powdered, or mixed with balancing foods to reduce their harshness. These slow, mindful methods preserve the benefit without provoking harm. The modern habit of chewing them straight from the fruit bypasses centuries of caution and respect for the body's limits. It is easy to mistake natural for safe. Yet, just as certain plants can nourish or poison depending on their preparation, papaya seeds straddle that fine line between medicine and irritant. For seniors seeking digestive health, understanding that boundary becomes essential. This is only the beginning of their story. To truly understand how something so small can influence well-being, we must first look backward, to the older traditions of Japan and Asia, where people learned to harness papaya's power with patience, precision, and respect for the gut's fragility. Long before papaya became a global symbol of tropical health, it quietly entered the traditional practices of Asia through trade and adaptation. In Japan, where respect for natural balance defines both medicine and cuisine, the fruit was never seen merely as a sweet indulgence. It was considered a digestive ally, but one that required care and moderation. While the bright flesh nourished and soothed, the seeds were approached with caution and intention. They were not chewed raw. Traditional Japanese herbalists and healers, influenced by both Kampo medicine and neighboring Southeast Asian practices, often used papaya seeds in specific preparations. They recognized the seeds' antimicrobial and anti-parasitic qualities, yet also understood their sharpness, both in taste and physiological effect. To reduce irritation, the seeds were dried, roasted lightly, or ground into a fine powder, then combined with soothing herbs like licorice or ginger. These mixtures balanced the heat and enzymatic activity of papaya, with ingredients that protected the stomach lining. In Okinawa, where longevity is celebrated as a way of life, papaya itself is a common household food, but the seeds are rarely consumed directly. Instead, locals ferment slices of green papaya with salt and herbs, creating a probiotic side dish that supports digestion naturally. Through fermentation, enzymes are transformed into gentler compounds, easier for the aging gut to absorb. The lesson was clear: the body thrives when nature's strength is softened through time and patience. Contrast this with modern trends that encourage raw chewing. Many people assume that eating papaya seeds straight from the fruit is a shortcut to ancient wisdom. Yet the traditional approach never valued shortcuts, it valued understanding. Ancient practitioners tested and observed for generations, learning how even natural substances could harm when used in excess or without proper preparation. They learned that papaya's enzymes, though beneficial, must be balanced by other foods that buffer their intensity. Rice gruel, warm teas, or soft tofu, for example. In Japanese culinary philosophy called shun, every food has its ideal season and form. Consuming papaya seeds without preparation disrupts that principle. The body, especially an elder's body, requires gentle support, not aggressive cleansing. By grinding and combining, rather than chewing and swallowing whole, traditional users respected both the power of the plant and the vulnerability of the gut. What makes these customs remarkable is their intuition. Long before laboratories confirmed the irritant properties of raw papaya seed compounds, Japanese and Asian traditions had already found safer ways to use them. Their restraint was not ignorance, it was wisdom. Understanding how these seeds were once handled reveals how far modern habits have drifted from balance. To appreciate the danger hidden in a few chewed seeds, we must also understand the fragility of the organ they threaten most, the human gut, especially when time and age have made it delicate. The human gut is often described as the body's second brain, yet few realize how vulnerable it becomes with age. By 60, the digestive system is no longer the resilient, forgiving network it once was. The mucosal lining that protects the intestines thins, stomach acid production declines, and beneficial bacteria decrease in diversity. What once passed harmlessly through the system can now irritate, inflame, or even damage. For older adults, maintaining gut integrity is not a matter of comfort. It is a foundation of health. In the Japanese philosophy of longevity, the gut is seen as the center of life force, or hara. A calm, strong gut means balance. A disturbed one means disharmony. Elders in Japan take great care to preserve this harmony through diet, routine, and mindfulness. They avoid extremes, foods that are too hot, too raw, or too harsh, because the gut, like the spirit, must not be shocked. Chewing papaya seeds raw, with their concentrated enzymes and bitter compounds, directly violates this wisdom. As the body ages, several changes make the gut especially sensitive to such irritants. The protective mucus that coats the intestinal walls becomes thinner, exposing the delicate epithelium beneath. Blood flow to the digestive organs slows, reducing the speed at which small injuries can heal. Even the peristaltic movement, the gentle contraction of muscles that moves food through the system, loses rhythm, leading to sluggish digestion or pockets of fermentation. In this environment, something as small as a rough-edged seed can cause disproportionate discomfort. Equally important is the gut microbiome, the vast community of bacteria that influences everything from immunity to mood. In seniors, this internal ecosystem often suffers from diversity loss due to antibiotics, processed foods, and lower fiber intake. When papaya seeds are chewed raw, their antimicrobial compounds don't discriminate. They can kill harmful pathogens, yes, but also beneficial microbes that maintain balance. This disruption can lead to bloating, irregularity, and inflammation that spreads beyond the gut to joints, skin, and even the brain. Japanese elders instinctively protect their microbiome through foods that nurture rather than challenge it. Fermented dishes like miso, natto, and pickled vegetables feed good bacteria while soothing digestion. Meals are eaten slowly, with gratitude, and rarely to excess. Such habits allow the gut to stay resilient, its defenses quietly renewed each day. Understanding these vulnerabilities helps explain why the same papaya seed that a young person might tolerate can harm an older adult. The difference lies not in the seed, but in the gut receiving it. The modern enthusiasm for quick detoxes ignores this truth, mistaking potency for benefit. To see what happens inside the body when these seeds are chewed raw, how the mechanical and chemical forces combine to irritate and inflame, we must now look closer at the interaction itself, where the promise of health turns quietly into harm. When a papaya seed is chewed, a series of small but significant reactions begins. The hard outer shell cracks, releasing its bitter compounds directly into the mouth, and Moments later, the gut. For many, the sharp taste alone is a warning, a natural signal that what follows is not meant to be consumed in large amounts. Yet, in pursuit of quick detox benefits, this warning is often ignored. What happens next inside the digestive tract reveals why such a small act can create lasting irritation, especially for older adults. The mechanical damage is the first layer of risk. Papaya seeds are round but firm, with an abrasive surface that can scratch the lining of the stomach and intestines. When chewed, the fragments become jagged, capable of scraping or embedding into the mucosal layer. In young, healthy tissue, these microabrasions may heal quickly. But in aging intestines, where the protective mucus has thinned and cell renewal slows, they can linger as open irritations, inviting inflammation or infection. Over time, these repeated injuries may contribute to chronic gut discomfort that feels like gastritis or irritable bowel syndrome. Beyond the physical abrasion lies a more subtle chemical effect. Inside each seed are bioactive compounds, benzyl isothiocyanate, carpane, and papain among them. In small, controlled doses, these substances can aid digestion and fight parasites, yet when released in concentrated form from crushed seeds, they can overwhelm the gut lining. Benzyl isothiocyanate, for instance, has cytotoxic properties at high concentrations, meaning it can damage living cells. For a compromised digestive system, that damage can occur faster than the tissue can repair itself. The gut's microbiome also feels the impact. These same antimicrobial compounds that kill harmful pathogens can disrupt the delicate balance of beneficial bacteria. Seniors whose microbiomes are already less diverse may find themselves dealing with unexpected bloating, constipation, or fatigue after repeated exposure. The problem is not immediate toxicity, but cumulative imbalance, each raw dose pushing the system slightly further from equilibrium. In Japanese wellness traditions, such aggressive interactions with the gut are carefully avoided. The body is seen as a garden, not a battlefield. One does not burn weeds at the expense of flowers. Instead of crushing the seeds, traditional users dry or roast them, transforming their active compounds into milder forms. Combined with warming herbs or served alongside fermented foods, these preparations soften the enzyme's impact, allowing benefit without harm. The raw act of chewing, therefore, is not just a mistake of method, it is a misunderstanding of intention. Nature's medicines are powerful, but they demand respect. When used harshly, even the most beneficial plant can turn against the body that seeks healing. To understand how science supports these warnings, we can turn to studies and medical observations, data that now confirm what tradition has quietly practiced for centuries. That moderation, not intensity, is the true key to health. Modern research has begun to explore the claims long made by both folk healers and skeptics about papaya seeds. While scientific studies confirm that the seeds possess antimicrobial, antioxidant, and antiparasitic properties, they also reveal a darker side when doses are uncontrolled. In the laboratory, what seems like a natural remedy can quickly show its double edge, a fine line between healing and harm that traditional wisdom understood without modern equipment. Animal studies provide the clearest evidence. Experiments conducted on rodents have shown that moderate doses of papaya seed extracts may reduce intestinal parasites and even support liver detoxification. However, when the concentration increases, the same compounds begin to harm vital organs. Researchers observed signs of liver stress, reduced sperm production, and intestinal inflammation at higher doses. These findings highlight a critical truth. Nature's medicines are dose-sensitive, and the seed's active compounds, especially benzyl isothiocyanate, are not meant for frequent or concentrated exposure. In humans, documented cases are fewer but telling. Some individuals who consumed large quantities of raw papaya seeds reported nausea, stomach cramps, or diarrhea within hours. In more subtle instances, persistent bloating or acid-like discomfort appeared after days of daily consumption. While these effects often faded once the seeds were discontinued, they suggest irritation of the gastrointestinal lining rather than detoxification. The gut, overwhelmed by enzyme and chemical exposure, reacts not with cleansing, but with defense, inflammation, increased mucus and altered motility. Papaya, the enzyme most celebrated for its digestive benefits, becomes problematic in excess. It is strong enough to tenderize meat. Imagine then its effect on a weakened stomach wall when consumed in high doses. Studies on isolated papain have shown that prolonged or unregulated intake can thin the protective mucus barrier in the stomach, leaving it more vulnerable to acid damage. For seniors already prone to gastritis, this is a quiet but significant risk. What makes the research particularly striking is how closely it aligns with traditional caution. Japanese and Southeast Asian healers never recommended direct chewing. Their methods, drying, heating, fermenting, were not cultural quirks but safety mechanisms. Science now confirms that heat neutralizes some of the harsher compounds, and that combining papaya seeds with mild foods or herbs reduces irritation. In other words, the slow, ritualized methods of preparation achieved what modern health fads ignore: balance. There remains a temptation to dismiss these warnings because the harm is rarely immediate. Unlike a poison that strikes suddenly, the damage from chewing papaya seeds builds quietly through irritation and imbalance. The absence of instant pain can disguise the early stages of inflammation until symptoms appear as chronic digestive issues later. And it is precisely those symptoms, the body's signals of protest, that deserve attention next. They are the language through which the gut speaks, warning when something that seems harmless begins to cause harm from within. The body rarely stays silent when something disrupts its balance. The gut, in particular, has a clear and sensitive way of speaking, through discomfort, bloating, pain, or irregular movements. For seniors who have chewed papaya seeds in the hope of improving digestion, these subtle warnings often begin as mild sensations and are easy to dismiss. Yet, these early signs are the body's plea for moderation. Understanding them can prevent small irritation from turning into lasting harm. The first and most common signal is a burning or cramping sensation shortly after consumption. The papain enzyme, while useful in tiny amounts, can irritate the stomach's protective layer when too concentrated. What feels like detox pain is often mild inflammation. Over time, repeated irritation may lead to gastritis, a condition where the stomach lining becomes sensitive to even ordinary foods. Japanese elders, trained from youth to eat slowly and pay attention to the body's cues, would interpret such sensations as a warning, not progress. Next come symptoms of imbalance within the intestines. Bloating, excessive gas, or a sudden increase in bowel movements can follow raw papaya seed consumption. These reactions stem from disruption in the gut microbiome. The seed's antimicrobial compounds may kill harmful bacteria, but they also destroy beneficial ones that maintain stability. Without those good microbes, digestion slows, fermentation increases, and nutrients are poorly absorbed. What begins as a cleansing effort ends in discomfort and fatigue. In more severe cases, the gut's distress can present as nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. These are the body's emergency responses, ways of expelling irritants quickly. When ignored or repeatedly triggered, such responses can cause dehydration and nutrient loss. Seniors whose fluid balance and digestive recovery are already slower are especially vulnerable. Even mild but chronic inflammation can weaken immune defenses and lead to wider health issues such as joint pain, poor sleep, or skin flare-ups, effects that stem from the gut's intricate connection with every other system. Occasionally, small traces of blood in stool or persistent abdominal tenderness can appear. These are serious signals that the gut's lining may be damaged or inflamed. In traditional Japanese practice, any such symptom would prompt rest, herbal soothing teas like roasted barley or shiso leaf, and a period of digestive simplicity, rice gruel, steamed vegetables, and fermented sides, to allow natural repair. The idea is to stop before harm deepens. It is important to understand that these symptoms are not signs of a body being cleansed, as many detox claims suggest. They are signs of strain. The body does not need punishment to heal. It needs support, patience, and balance. Listening to the gut's language is a form of wisdom that modern quick fixes too often overlook. And it is exactly this kind of wisdom that Japanese traditions have refined for generations. Ways of using nature's power gently, transforming potential irritants like papaya seeds into allies through careful preparation and respect for the body's limits. In Japan, the philosophy of healing has always been built on moderation, preparation, and mindfulness. When it comes to potent natural ingredients like papaya seeds, the Japanese approach has never been about rejection, but refinement. Instead of chewing them raw and unleashing their harsh potential, traditional practices have long transformed them through careful preparation, turning what could harm into something that helps. This quiet discipline of respect for nature's strength is what protects the gut while preserving the fruit's benefits. In many regions of Japan, papaya, introduced centuries ago through trade with Southeast Asia, was not eaten the same way it was in tropical countries. Healers quickly realized that the raw seeds were too intense for the stomach. They learned to temper their effects through drying, roasting, and fermentation. Each process softened the enzymes and neutralized some of the seed's strongest compounds, such as benzyl isothiocyanate, making them safer for consumption. The seeds, once mild, could then be powdered and used sparingly as part of larger herbal blends, rather than as a standalone remedy. These blends often combined papaya seed powder with gut-friendly ingredients like roasted rice bran, ginger, or shiso leaf, foods known for their warming and protective properties. This combination buffered the seed's enzymatic activity while enhancing overall digestion. A small amount was mixed into teas or broths, never chewed directly. The goal was gentle stimulation, not drastic cleansing. This balance reflects the Japanese belief in Chowa, harmony, where healing is meant to support, not shock, the body. The same principle applies to their cooking traditions. Instead of using raw seeds, many Japanese households relied on fermented papaya or its enzymes in cooked dishes to aid digestion. Fermentation naturally breaks down the enzymes, creating milder compounds that work synergistically with the gut rather than against it. It also introduces beneficial bacteria, which help restore microbiome balance, something the raw seeds tend to disturb. Equally important is the cultural attitude behind these practices. Food and medicine are never rushed. Elders prepare ingredients slowly, often with gratitude and ritual. This patience ensures not only safety but mindfulness, a recognition that nature's power must be approached with humility. By contrast, the modern trend of chewing papaya seeds raw reflects the opposite mindset: impatience, haste, and the illusion that stronger means better. Japanese longevity owes much to this restraint. Their traditional diets and health practices are full of foods that heal quietly over time, rather than cleanse aggressively overnight. Papaya, when used correctly, fits seamlessly into this philosophy. When abused, it breaks it. Through these time-tested methods, Japanese wisdom offers a crucial reminder: preparation transforms potency into nourishment. The difference between harm and healing lies not in the seed itself, but in the care we bring to its use. With this understanding, it becomes clear that safety does not mean avoidance, it means knowledge. And for those who still wish to benefit from papaya, there are indeed safer ways to do so, guided by both science and tradition. For those who wish to use papaya safely, the solution is not complete avoidance but thoughtful adaptation. Nature's remedies often carry both power and peril, and the key lies in balance. When handled properly, papaya and its enzymes can indeed support digestion, detoxification, and immune strength. But the method matters. Learning how to prepare, measure, and combine these elements transforms the fruit from a source of risk into a reliable ally for gut health. The first rule of safe use is to avoid chewing the raw seeds. Instead, they should be dried and lightly roasted to reduce the harsh compounds that irritate the gut lining. Once cooled, they can be ground into a fine powder and stored in small quantities. This form is easier for the body to process and allows precise control over dosage. A pinch added to warm water, tea, or food once or twice a week is far safer than swallowing the whole seeds daily. The Japanese approach favors microdoses, just enough to stimulate, never enough to stress. Another safe alternative is papaya enzyme extract, often sold in capsule or powdered form. These products isolate papain and other beneficial enzymes at controlled concentrations. When taken according to instruction, They aid protein digestion without overwhelming the stomach. Even then, elders in Japan or Okinawa often pair enzyme supplements with soothing foods like rice porridge, miso soup, or green tea. The goal is synergy, not strain. For those seeking natural digestive support without seeds, papaya flesh itself offers a gentle solution. The ripe fruit provides fiber, vitamins, and mild enzymes that promote regularity and repair. Green papaya, when cooked or fermented, offers a more subtle enzyme source ideal for seniors. Fermentation, a cornerstone of Japanese nutrition, adds beneficial bacteria that help the gut thrive. The combined effects of enzymes and probiotics create balance instead of disruption. It is also possible to blend traditional Japanese herbal wisdom with papaya's properties. Ginger tea, roasted barley tea, mujicha, and licorice root are all known to calm the gut and counteract mild irritation. A small amount of papaya seed powder mixed with these soothing infusions provides a safer, buffered alternative to raw consumption. This practice echoes Japan's centuries-old philosophy of pairing strong elements with gentle ones to preserve equilibrium. The modern wellness industry often romanticizes natural detox as a fast cure. But true healing, as the Japanese know, requires rhythm and respect. No single food should dominate the body's cleansing process. Balance and consistency matter far more. In the end, using papaya safely is not about following a trend. It is about honoring the wisdom of preparation, dosage, and patience. When approached with humility, this fruit can indeed serve as a friend to digestion. And this same spirit of care extends beyond papaya itself, into a broader philosophy of protecting the gut through daily lifestyle practices. A philosophy deeply embedded in the quiet routines of Japanese elders who guard their health through gentle constancy. The gut's resilience depends on more than single remedies or foods. It reflects the sum of daily choices. In Japan, this understanding is woven into life itself. Instead of searching for isolated cures, the Japanese preserve gut health through simple, consistent habits that create balance over time. Their approach is not about restriction or obsession, but rhythm. Every meal, movement, and moment of rest contributes to the harmony of the digestive system. At the core of these habits lies diet. Japanese elders eat a variety of foods rich in natural probiotics and prebiotics that nourish the microbiome. Miso, natto, pickled vegetables, and fermented teas provide beneficial bacteria, while seaweed, barley, and sweet potatoes feed them. This combination strengthens the gut barrier and reduces inflammation, preventing many of the issues that papaya seeds are wrongly expected to solve. Meals are small, diverse, and colorful, each bite designed to support both pleasure and function. Portion control and pacing are equally vital. The principle of hara hachi bu, eating until one feels about 80% full, protects digestion from overload. Seniors who follow this practice avoid the sluggishness and reflux that often accompany overeating. Eating slowly, chewing thoroughly, and maintaining gratitude before meals all enhance the body's readiness to digest. Science now confirms what this tradition intuited. Mindful eating improves enzyme activity, balances hormones, and reduces gut stress. Movement also plays a quiet but powerful role. Japanese elders rarely spend long hours sitting still. Gentle activities like walking, stretching, and gardening keep the abdominal muscles strong and blood flow steady, aiding peristalsis, the movement that propels food through the intestines. Even small regular motions help prevent constipation and bloating, especially when paired with hydration and balanced nutrition. Sleep and relaxation form the third pillar of this harmony. The gut's repair mechanisms are most active at night, when the nervous system shifts from alertness to rest. Japanese culture honors this natural rhythm by prioritizing calm evenings and early sleep. Restful nights allow the microbiome to regenerate, supporting immunity and energy. Chronic stress, on the other hand, disturbs gut function, increasing inflammation and discomfort. Practices such as meditation, breathing exercises, or simply soaking in a warm bath calm the mind and, by extension, the gut. Underlying all these behaviors is an attitude of respect for the body's signals. Japanese elders rarely push through discomfort. They pause, adjust, and restore balance before problems worsen. This attentiveness turns prevention into a lifestyle rather than a reaction. By integrating nourishment, movement, and rest, Japanese traditions demonstrate that gut health is not maintained by single acts, but by steady care. This philosophy provides an essential context for the warnings about papaya seeds. The path to digestive strength does not require extremes. And as these lessons converge, one final truth emerges, a mindset that binds all aspects of Japanese health wisdom together: the art of prevention, patience, and deep respect for the body's quiet messages. The wisdom that sustains Japanese elders through long, healthy lives rests on a single principle: prevention is the highest form of care. Rather than waiting for illness to strike or chasing miracle cures, they focus on protecting balance before it breaks. This preventive mindset shapes everything, from how they move and eat to how they think and rest. And it is the final key to understanding why so many of their practices remain relevant in a world obsessed with quick fixes. In Japan, health is viewed as a garden that must be tended daily, not repaired in crisis. Small, consistent acts, stretching at sunrise, drinking warm tea, stopping before fullness, choosing fresh local foods, build resilience over time. The same approach applies to digestion. Instead of shocking the gut with raw, potent substances like papaya seeds, Japanese elders strengthen it gently through moderation and awareness. Each meal is seen as a chance to restore, not challenge the body. Listening is central to this philosophy. The elderly do not ignore discomfort or dismiss fatigue as minor. When the stomach feels heavy, they simplify meals. When energy wanes, they rest earlier. This sensitivity allows them to catch imbalances at their beginning, when the solution is still simple. In contrast, many modern habits, chewing harsh seeds, fasting abruptly, overusing supplements, ignore the body's early signals, mistaking silence for strength. Respect for expertise is also woven into this mindset. Visiting a doctor or herbalist is not seen as weakness, but as partnership. Wisdom flows both ways. Tradition informs science, and science validates tradition. Kampo practitioners may combine papaya enzyme extracts with soothing herbs. Physicians may recommend fermented foods to aid recovery. This cooperation ensures safety and sustainability, protecting the gut from the harms of experimentation without guidance. The preventive philosophy extends beyond food into emotional and spiritual balance. Chronic stress, resentment, or worry are considered just as corrosive to the gut as poor diet. Japanese elders cultivate calm through routine, community, and appreciation of simplicity. A walk under cherry blossoms, a quiet meal with family, a shared laugh. These moments nurture the body by nurturing the mind. Harmony between the two is what keeps inflammation low and longevity high. The story of papaya seeds becomes then more than a warning. It becomes a lesson in perspective. Health is not found in intensity, but in gentleness. Not in what is extreme, but in what is consistent. The Japanese show that living well does not mean doing more, but doing better. Listening, adjusting, and trusting the body's quiet intelligence. In the end, the secret is not hidden in a seed at all. It lives in the daily rhythm of care, in the humility to learn from nature rather than control it. For seniors everywhere, this timeless wisdom offers a reminder. Healing begins not with what we add, but with what we choose to respect.